another Solid Gold podcast.
Yes, it's that time of the week again with the two blondes, one in France, one in Johannesburg, and we are having, well, a whale of a time here in Johannesburg anyway, because of it's very unseasonably wet weather. We can expect cold, but we weren't expecting Cape Town to send their weather up our way. But it looks like it's a really sunny, lovely day in France, where Jenni Baxter is sitting right now, because she's wearing a vest.
Did I send you the photo of the weather showing how Antibes just misses out on the rain? That's why we have a drought. So yeah. Even though it rains in Cannes, it rains in Nice, I mean, the film festival, it rains all the time. But here, we're 5 minutes away, no rain. It's a microclimate. It's not perfect. We want some rain and some green. So
okay, yeah.
I'm envious
I don't mind
of your
the rain, except it just means I can't go out walking as much as I'd like to, because where I go walking becomes really muddy, and as much as I think mud wrestling is fantastic, I don't want to actually do it when it's cold. Right. But I see that, I mean, talking about the skies, crying, I see there's been lots of tears around the world for various reasons, with people being absolutely amazed from the entertainment side of things.
Yes, it has been the most uplifting week by South Africans to the rest of the world. First, you had Musa Mota in England, Britain's Got Talent, who made history because all the judges did a golden buzzer for him. He performed. He became amputated after getting cancer when he was 11, and he danced exquisitely. I mean, you saw it. It was so beautiful, so moving, so elegant, and his whole attitude, I think, was just so uplifting. So he lifted the spirits of the world, and then the Manzi Youth Choir did the same thing in America's Got Talent, where Simon Cowell was actually crying, real tears, not just crocodile tears, because they did the tribute. Did you see it?
No,
did you see it? Okay, check out SA People today, and you'll see it. They did a tribute to Nightbird. I don't know if you remember her. She was a contestant who sadly had cancer, and she had written a song called "It's Okay," and they did a cover of that song, and before she died, they had tagged her, and she had said how much she loved it. And so now they actually performed it on stage at America's Got Talent. They are through to the semi-finals in August now. They made history the very first time that the audience got to choose a golden buzzer moment. Plus there were 4 other golden buzzers all at the same time. It was just hectic. It was just divine. It was, South African voices singing high, flying the flag high, and I think Simon Cowell should move to South Africa because they obviously, there's a connection he seems to get. Yeah, really beautiful. So well done to all of them.
One of the big news stories here, as of yesterday, of course, is with Eusebius McKaiser passing away. Very, very unexpectedly. It's so sad. Although I must admit that I have never listened to him because I'm not a 702 listener. I prefer music rather than talking heads, but I know that it's a great loss to the industry. Always thought-provoking and really provoking, actually.
Yeah, and really cared about South Africa. I mean, for me, he was one of the smartest voices. Whatever article I wrote that had a political leaning or was something important in South Africa, I would always check his tweets, check what he was thinking, what he was saying. I think it's a real giant loss for South Africa, and so sad for his family. And also, though, so beautiful that just a couple of hours before he passed away, his last tweets were about Musa. And the second to last tweet he actually pinned, which was him saying, "Stop what you're doing, and you need to watch this." Speechless, he said he'd ran out of tears, and And he also said retweet it so that Musa becomes a household name in South Africa and not just in the UK, which is beautiful. And Musa has it. Because, Musa lives in England now. He's a South African expat, I will proudly claim, as a fellow South African living abroad. And then his very last tweet was a beautiful video about the backstory to Musa's life. So how beautiful that he was thinking of someone else and uplifting South Africans at the same time.
Well, it's lovely to see so many expats who actually are like putting the information out there. I mean, it first came to my notice with Sue Kelly Christie. Remember the actress that used to be here? I think she was on Telephone Quiz with Martin Bailey.
Yes.
What's his surname? Gosh, Martin Bailey is a sex god. We must never forget that. And Eddie Eckstein. So, I mean, it's lovely to see Sue still kind of like following what's happening as the people who are listening to this and are involved in SA People are doing right now. Okay, so let's have a look and see what other news there is for expats abroad.
Well, if you're in South America, there's really good news because they're a bit like the Durban of the world. They get left out quite a bit. But now Brazil's Latam, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but the airline has linked up with Airlink in South Africa. And they're going to start in September, resuming their flights 3 times a week from Sao Paulo to Johannesburg. And then they'll connect with 40 other destinations in South Africa and the rest of Africa. So, that makes such a difference for South Africans in South America. It's really, so many get stuck. It's so hard. So that's divine. And then in Paris, there's... good and bad news. We had Lloyd Harris. He was our only South African in the French Open, but he got knocked out in the first round. However, it was he did this like swerve and landed on his foot really badly. Really, he was in such pain, but he continued because he said he's not a quitter, and it wouldn't have been fair to retire, for the audience that was there to see a match. And he did really well. I think the first 2 sets were like 7-6, 7-6, somewhere around there, so he really gave it his utmost. And he says...
Gave it horns.
Yeah. And I think most of the end of last year, he was, his wrist was injured. So he's only just come back. And he said, once he gets his body back into good shape, he knows he's going to escalate up the tennis ranks. So
fantastic. I know there's been a couple of upsets already at the French Open, but I'm sure that anybody who watches tennis is totally aware of that. Right. For those of us who don't watch tennis, we're only interested in the South Africans that are doing well. Cool. And then, of course, what is this about the Beast?
He's in Paris right now since Tuesday.
For people who don't know who the Beast is, of course, it's Tendai.
Who doesn't know?
Well, anybody who doesn't follow rugby, man, they would maybe.
I don't know any South African who doesn't follow rugby.
No, but that's also true. That's also. I didn't used to though. I wasn't.
You would still know. You would still know the names.
The Beast,
because everybody else around you. I think. I don't think there's any other country that is as invested in rugby as South Africa. Having lived in England, France, and Australia.
Yeah.
South Africa.
Maybe New Zealand. I like the All Blacks.
I like them all, but I just don't think any of them are, that it's in their blood as much. Anyway, that's my opinion.
So what is he doing in France?
He has taken over the Webb Ellis Cup because remember South Africa won last time. And he's handed it over to the Rugby World Cup officials who are there, organisers. And then today, Wednesday, he's doing a whole bunch of stuff in Paris with the cup. And it'll end with him putting the cup on the top of the l'Arc de Triomphe.
Okay.
So any expats who are in the area...
They should have taken a picture of him on top of the little mini Arc de Triomphe, which is out at Hartbeespoort Dam. Taken that picture and then taken it and said from Africa to Europe. I mean, I think that would have been
true.
And I can say that because I landed on the top of it, so it's not difficult to get.
On the little one?
On the small one. On the
so
bridge,
it's not that little
dam.
Then?
No, it's not big. You can land a helicopter on it, yeah.
Yeah, big enough for a helicopter. That's big.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad at all. But anyway, yeah, so I'm looking forward to Rugby World Cup time again. As we know, my blood is green. I'm not going to keep on saying that every week. I promise you that. Okay. And
I think you will.
Actually, quite possible, yeah.
I should make money out of this.
We're going to take a bet on it. Right, I'll keep quiet then.
No,
Also,
don't.
you can well, I'm very upset about the fact that I cannot get a smart ID in this country because even though I've been here for, I'm not going to say how many years.
A few.
Giving it away. I didn't happen to be born here, so I can't have a smart ID.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you have a South African passport.
Yes. I am a South African citizen and I have been for many, many years, but I'm not allowed to have a smart ID. They have changed it, though, that it used to be that even if you were born in South Africa, if one of your parents wasn't born in South Africa, you couldn't get a smart ID either. But now they've changed it. Because my
so
poor kids were like, we
crazy.
don't want to carry this green book around with us. We want a smart ID. And of course, neither
the green
their father
mamba.
nor I were actually kind of born in South Africa. But now they've changed that. But now I believe that you can actually, well, I know that you've been able to renew passports and all that kind of thing at, like I go to my Standard Bank in, what's it called, Killarney. I know they do it,
Yeah.
but now there's 27.
There's 27 at the
branches.
moment, and even though I think legally, if you are living abroad, you should be applying for a passport abroad. But I do know of many South Africans who, get fed up waiting over 6 months to a year, and so they go back to South Africa and get it done within a couple of weeks by going to and then using their parents' address or something. So yeah, there's 27. You can see on sapeople.com for the list of branches, and you can get your smart ID or your passport. And Home Affairs is going to increase that number of branches, and this is from March to September.
I'm just wondering, has anything further happened with that whole thing about people losing their South African citizenship if they had a passport from another country? Has there been any updates?
We're waiting for the court to get back to us, or not to us, but to the DA.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Okay, what news have you got from expats?
Well, some South Africans won a lot of money at the Live Golf International. Is that how we've spoken about this before? LIV, the Saudi-backed golf tournament that's got so much money. So Brandon Grace, South African, it was very exciting. He was a runner-up. He lost by one shot, but he still won must I say it in rands? 44.3 million rand.
I wonder if he'd adopt me. Do you think he'd adopt me? Can become my blesser? Maybe he's a bit young.
Oh, isn't that lovely? I met a lady. I met a lady the other day who married a man 24 years younger than her, and but then he died. And she was like, it was the wrong way around. You go for younger as an investment. Anyway.
As an investment, Jenni. As an investment.
Because you were talking about somebody adopting you for money. That's why my mind is there. No, you go for younger for the body. But anyway. No, I'm joking. It's the mind.
So,
and the heart.
So that you don't have to, nurse them when they get older. And then that worked out really well, didn't it? No, not really. Okay.
So back to our South African golfers. There were 3 others who were there, who also won a lot of money, 12 million. That's Louis Oosthuizen, a couple of others, and then the 4 of them together as a team came second and won a further 7.4 million rand each. So
wow,
it was all round good golfing for the South Africans.
I should maybe have stayed in the golfing field for a while. I was like, okay, one can make a lot of money, but then I did break my back. Okay, so that was the reason my swing went for a loop. So I couldn't play anymore. But I still have pictures of me wielding a golf club. So that was good.
Oh, scary. Scary.
You see this blonde coming up behind you with a golf club, you know that I know where to hide the bodies. And I'm joking. All right, so let's talk about some local good news.
Pretty Yende, who we've spoken about recently because she sang at the coronation, our world famous soprano, has been named a UN Goodwill Ambassador for Arts and Health. And this is because the UN has recognized the significant impact that the arts has on people's physical, mental, and social well-being, you know. So Pretty is really excited. She's hoping to start a foundation and to investigate this link more and be able to help more people, particularly in South Africa. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Healing with music.
That's a good
And
thing. It's
art.
good for your
And for
emotional
art.
state. Music is
Yes.
the biggest input when you're feeling, or if you want to feel down, or if you want to perk yourself up. Music can
Yeah.
change everything.
Yeah.
Right, and talking about music that changes a lot of stuff, of course, the Ndlovu Youth Choir, who do such amazing things around the world, not just here in South Africa. They're on the move again, aren't they?
Yeah, except I think they're heading home now, or have landed back home. They were all over doing incredible things abroad, but I think one of the things that South Africans enjoyed the most was seeing them with George Clooney in Germany a few days ago in Düsseldorf, and that's because there's a lottery, the Deutsche Postcode Lotteries there, who helps their care group, supports it financially and everything. So they were on stage and everybody just loved it. Beautiful. But now they're back in South Africa and they're going to be performing, I think, in Johannesburg in August and Cape Town in October. And I just have to say it, and for me as well, this will be the last time I say it, but I cannot believe that yet again, and this is a local group, that yet again Durban gets left out. It's as if we don't exist to South Africa.
Most of the time, Johannesburg doesn't seem to exist either.
I know, with Pretoria taking over. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's safer in Pretoria. Who knows?
Oh, talking safety. Some good news for people who want to travel to South Africa. I think that a lot of people, believe it or not, as much as the tourism has increased and, most people have a fantastic time in South Africa, unfortunately, with one or two very violent crimes, that have made world headlines, there has been some reluctance to travel to South Africa. So the tourism department and some private stakeholders have got together and they have this app, the Secura Safety app. It's getting launched on the 1st of July. It is aimed purely at tourists nationwide in South Africa. So wherever you are in South Africa, this safety app will ensure that you are a lot safer. There's a panic button on it. If you break down, it just takes care of everything. And they were saying, they know that it's not going to change perceptions overnight, but they're hoping within 3 months that it will actually make a difference, that travelers to South Africa will feel that bit safer.
All they need to do is just make sure that they kind of get, like, what's the name of the guy that drove they were trying to hold up the cash in transit heist, and then he wrote a book about it. They need one of those to accompany you wherever you go. That's all you need, really.
Or you with a golf stick.
Or me with my golf clubs, a golf stick.
Oh, sorry.
Lord, you can tell she hasn't played any golf in her part. All right, what else have we got?
Good golf.
I see that the National Lotteries Commission, you mean that there actually still is money in it? I thought that would all be nicked as well.
Oh, I know, but I think with Groundup's splendid work, hopefully things will get back on track there. They are reintroducing animal welfare funding, thank goodness, because that was, not only heartbreaking for the animals and for the animal lovers, but it was animal welfare actually protects people in poor communities from getting diseases and everything. You know, it actually plays a big role. Obviously, they are able to also stop so many strays from multiplying and everything. So it's really good. They are now able to all put in requests to become recipients. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's good.
And what else have you got?
Tusa Mbedu, who acted in a movie that I know you like, The Woman King. She has been named for the first time ever. L'Oréal Paris is getting a spokesperson in sub-Saharan Africa, and it's her. So she'll be their brand ambassador. And she said it's just amazing. You know, growing up, she never considered herself beautiful, and now to be representing this, you know, world famous brand who represents strong women as well is just such an honor. So I think she'll do a fantastic job. Really, really divine.
Yeah, I like the products as well. I use them. If Jane Fonda and Andy McDowell can use them, I can too. Okay, but the reason I need to have them is because, not because I like drinking brandy that much, but is because, you know, one needs to look after one's skin, especially if one does drink a lot, which I don't. I didn't say I don't. I drink a lot of water. Okay, sorry, let me just clarify that for a second. Otherwise, I'm going to sound like an old blush, which I hope is not true. Well, no, it's not true. Okay. Anyway, but I always get excited, especially when they have whiskey tastings and brandy tastings, and of course, I am a bit off of wine, which because it's I don't know, too many
lots of sugar.
Lots of sugar, and as I always jokingly say, I do have an 8-pack, okay, because of the amount of training I do. Unfortunately, it is covered by a wine cooler. So,
no.
So the brandy barrel is also not something I want to do because, of course, brandy made a bicky Coke is always, you know, I like to have my Clippies and Coke. Although my children prefer to go for, what do they call it, Ricky Low. But brandy, South African brandy.
What is Ricky Low?
Richelieu. We all have our names for things, you know, number 17 and all of that kind of stuff. But
what's number 17?
Lion.
How do you know that?
The other way, because you turned it around the other way and it spells lion.
Oh,
you
okay.
put it in a
I
mirror.
never knew that.
Yeah, you learn something new every day, you know. So Van Ryn's 15-year-old pot still brandy has just won the world's best wine brandy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's amazing because actually they came first, another one of their brandies came second, and 3 KWV brandies, also locally produced, were in the next 3 positions. And then it was, you know, France, Australia, United States. But five South African products up there. So,
absolutely brilliant.
Pretty cool.
Hulle maak baie goed brandewyn, nee.
They said it's big and powerful, but still elegant. Like you.
I'm not that big.
No, you're not that big.
I mean, everybody always says to me when they meet me, and they
Big
say,
personality.
I always thought you would be so much taller. And here I am, all 5'6" of me, you know, it's really not big. Okay, now why would the city of Cape Town need a new naming committee?
Because there are some roads, some venue places that they just want to look at the names and discuss how people feel about the names and whether the names should be changed. Okay. So there are some that are perhaps still a little, I don't know, hurtful perhaps.
Okay,
Yeah.
good for them. Right,
Yeah.
okay, moving on. But Cape Town and Nairobi are now sister cities, apparently.
Yeah, but I mean, I think really exciting. It's you know, financially going to be great because the mayor is very involved. You know, Jordan Hill Lewis, is that his name?
I don't know.
Okay, Mayor of Cape Town. Everybody from Cape Town knows who he is. He's very involved. He's such a hands-on, brilliant mayor, I think. And he got together with Nairobi. He decided that when they got a sister city, they wanted it to be another city in Africa. And Nairobi is perfect because both of them are gateways into their countries. Both of them attract a lot of tourists, and both of them attract a lot of film industry happenings. So, combining their skills and their promotions to the rest of the world is a really, really good idea.
Fantastic. No, we need that. I mean, our film industry is just so good, as I think we were talking about last week. And Nollywood does so well. Over in Nigeria. So there's like a lot of stuff happening, but to pick up Kenya as well, for me, is like absolutely brilliant. It's a great country. Okay, so talking about entertainment things and movies and television and stuff, what have you been watching? I'm still getting through the last few episodes of Succession, which has nothing to do with South Africa, but it's just on TV here at the moment on Showmax. Yeah.
I know, they've had the last one.
Yes, I know. People were saying,
please don't tell.
I haven't watched
Don't
it.
tell. Don't even say anything. I don't even want to know if it's good or bad. No,
somebody just said, I'm never going to watch TV again. That isn't telling you anything.
Oh, no. It tells me that I'm not going to get what I want. But don't say another thing. Please.
Okay, done. Right. Tell me about other stuff then.
Oh no, because Cassie had the Cannes Film Festival, so she wasn't watching with me, and we have a promise to watch together kind of thing. So now I've still got 4 episodes to catch up on.
I'm only going on to episode 6 now, so I have no idea.
Oh, you're behind. Happening. Okay, cool.
Yes, I'm well behind.
Okay, another thing that I think is worth watching if you're abroad is Young, Famous and African. Season 2 is now on Netflix, and just for a slice of course it's not normal life in South Africa, but you'll get to see your Sandton City and you'll see things that you recognize, and it's just amazing to see how South Africa is so modern now. It's so I think that's interesting. Then just congratulations to Tando Tabete, who's just got a role in Netflix's My Dad, the Bounty Hunter. So it's like a sci-fi animation, but it's big. It's in the top 10 in about 39 countries. So she'll be in it from mid-August. Okay. And then I Number or E Number.
E Number. Yes.
E Number, Josie Gold, is coming to Netflix on the 23rd of June. So look out for that.
What's that about?
It's like an undercover cop who's got to choose between, doing the right thing and doing something that's against the law, kind of thing. So, yeah. There's like this gold heist in Johannesburg, and what does he do? But I saw the first one.
He goes to go and find Leon, who drives the armored truck.
But I saw the first one, and it was really good. I saw it in Cannes. So, yeah, great actors. Cool. Great, yeah.
And then, of course, I'm sure that you're aware, I mean, today, which is the 31st of May, would historically have been the day that the Comrades Marathon would have been run. But
even though it's not a Sunday.
They've always, because remember, the 31st of May used to be a public holiday, so they used to run it on that day. So now, obviously, it moves around a little bit in June, so it is on a weekend. Yeah. And it's a down run, although I don't know why I know they'd say up run because it's from Durban to Pietermaritzburg, and of course Pietermaritzburg isn't at sea level, and it looks like you're going up on a map, so the down run's obviously the other way, but there's lots of up and downs on both ways. Okay? So you're running a lot of up when you're doing that race, with a couple of very long downs, which can be hell, especially if you start developing shin splints. But I'd like to say to all the people who are mad enough to go and run the Comrades, I don't run because I'm a walker, obviously, who are running it, the best of British to you. It's going to be very interesting to see how many international people will be running it this year, and whether a South African goes and wins it again.
Oh, I hope so. And this year, if you're a walker like Melanie, you can watch it on TV, and I think it's going to be really exciting this year because there's going to be two super sport channels, one that has the whole race and one that has the women's event. Because what happens often is that you're watching the people who are in the front six, and so you don't see enough of the women who are in the front six of the women.
Well done.
Well
done, Supersport. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
Okay, well, we're getting to that time where we find out what you've got that's a big story that's coming up on SA People that you're working on at the moment. So what is it, Jenni Baxter?
It's not a huge story, but it's a beautiful story of an albino elephant that was orphaned and found in a poacher's snare, and everyone thought it would die 2020, and with a lot of support from a lot of people around the world, and obviously with amazing work at Herd, in Hoedspruit. I think they're the first elephant rescue orphanage in South Africa. This little elephant, Kanyisa, is alive and well. This year he'll be weaned off milk finally so that he can start his journey back to the wild. But he still desperately does need milk. And it's 23 euros for one milk bottle feed. And they are tomorrow, 1st of June is the annual fundraiser for the milk. So because it's World Milk Day on the 1st of June. So
I like milk.
Yeah, I love milk.
You have the little white moustache drinking milk is I don't care what people say. I like milk, and milk is good for you. Right, there we have it. Another week's worth of all the good stuff that comes out of South Africa and South Africans, including milk, elephant milk. And I would just, before we leave, I'd just like to say a big shout out to one of my little pixies who's gone back off to, so you were talking about Hoedspruit, so of course she's back off at a very nice game lodge up in the Hoedspruit area again. So it's just a shout out to her, and hopefully she'll send you some wonderful footage.
We can't wait.
Yeah. All right, Jenni, we'll catch up with you again next week. And of course, for all of those of you who want to share good news about South Africa or South Africans, you just get along to sapeople.com and hit Jenni up with some of your news. Not so?
Thank you. Yes, please. Thanks, Mal. Have a good week.
Thanks, you too. Catch you next time.
Another production from Solid Gold Podcasts.